Hi, I'm Hilary and I'm going to show you how I frame a finished embroidery. So this is the back of one, just an example, and the first thing you want to do is make sure you've got rid of all these little ends, either by cutting them off or actually press them when you are pressing the fabric, press them inwards so that they don't show through the fabric. As it happens on this one, it doesn't particularly matter because the fabric is dark coloured, but if you've got white fabric, those little ends will show through once you've got it framed. Okay, then you've got your mount board. If it has a white side and a darker side, put it so that the white side is against the fabric. That's because if you've got white fabric, having white behind it will give a better appearance. So there we are, I'm putting my fabric on top, and my embroideries are all marked. That's what the dotted lines are there for, to show you where they go against the edge of the mount board. So flip it over like that and just make sure that your fabric is in line with the dotted lines on the mount board. Then it gets a bit fiddly, and I cheat and I use sellotape to actually fold the fabric over and to hold it into the right place. Okay, so I've started by folding that piece of fabric over and sticking it down with sellotape, and then I'm going to do the same on this side and pull it fairly tight. You can see there's quite a bit of give there because you want the fabric stretched tight over the board to keep it nice and flat. And then the same on this side. Pull the fabric over the top. Bit of sellotape, and the same on the bottom. Okay, so when I turn it over, I will do that again because it's not completely lined up. I obviously need to move it across a bit. Okay, to get us started, I've put some sellotape on just to hold the fabric in place against the board and to make sure it's all lined up. So what I've done on this side is made sure that the dotted lines are along the edge of the board and also in line at the top. But having those that edge held in the right place makes this next bit an awful lot easier. So then you just do the same on the other sides, and I'll stop recording and show it to you when it's finished. Okay, so I've put sellotape on all four edges, holding the fabric over the back of the mounting board. And this is what it looks like from the other side. It's gone nicely on these edges. Don't stress if these don't line up exactly. Bear in mind you're going to have a mount board that will hide this edge, so no one's going to see it. And the same goes for the stitching on the back. Nobody's ever going to see the back of your framed embroidery, so don't worry about how it looks. It's more important that it's just held tightly in place. Okay, so the next bit is to prepare the corners. So where you've got your corner of the fabric, pull it diagonally like that, so that the corner of the fabric comes down over the mount board, and fold, it's hard to show you, fold the edge right in and fold that flap over, and the same on this side. Fold it right in and over, and it makes a neat diagonal fold. And then I use a pin just to hold it in place, because you're going to stitch that corner. Okay, so then just with an ordinary needle, an ordinary sewing needle and cotton thread, just stitch these corners together. So I'm just starting on one. And remember what I said earlier, nobody is going to see these stitches. They don't have to be particularly neat and tidy. And you're just making sure that you're pulling the diagonal edges on both sides just to make sure it's held over the mount board. Okay, and then do that for the all four corners. Okay, so I've done the first part of the first side. So you're pulling your thread about halfway across the border. Don't sew right on the edge, because as you can see the fabric does fray a bit, and if you sew right on the edge there's a risk that the thread will come out. And pull the cotton pretty taut as you go backwards and forwards, because the whole idea of the threads at the back is that they keep the front of the fabric nice and tight against the mount board. Okay, so there it is finished. You can see the lines of cotton zigzagging across in both directions, and as I said, the thread you're pulling through the middle of the fabric and really pulling it quite tight. It won't win any embroidery prizes, but it really doesn't matter because nobody's going to see the back. So turning it round the other way, remember I was saying don't worry about these bits that don't line up exactly, because when it's in the frame and it's got its mount on like that, nobody's going to see that, and all the stitching is round the back.